Okay, so I think quarantine's been a good thing. Obviously, and in a weird way, the virus, for me, has been a good thing. Before the virus, I was very much wallowing in self pity and wanting to rip my hair out. I've always wanted to rip my hair out, but it's a different type. A lot of people were saying, if it's so hard for people who live alone because they can't see anybody. And I'm addicted to interacting with people. I feel as if I need it to survive. The funny thing is that I've never been healthy emotionally. Never been healthy emotionally. But I was the best mentally that I'd ever been during lockdown. I started a course, did a whole bunch of studying in that. I did a volunteer work to check it, writing letters, checking in on our neighbours, saying it's a tough time. It's going to be okay. If you're struggling, here's this website. I was doing really well. And now, I don't know, I'm not feeling quite right. But I did a lot for myself when I couldn't interact with anyone. The closest I had, right, was going for walks in the park near my place. We were allowed 1 hour, and I was doing that, and I was good. I was in the best mindset that I'd ever been in. Then lockdown ends, and I go back into interacting with people that aren't good for my mental health. And then I start to spiral again. And then things get bad, go from bad to worse. And I understand addicts now. With example, I'm a binge eater. I can get away with it because I'm blessed with an amazing metabolism. I'm 22, and during quarantine I just hit a size 12, which ticked me off. So started going to the gym since, but I can eat like crazy. And I am an emotional eater. Yeah, I wasn't doing that as much in crazy lockdown. Here in Melbourne, I was very fortunate that the government was helping out financially. Not gonna lie, beforehand, I utterly refused. I was in a position financially where I could have gone to the government for help. But I don't like the notion of, I don't like just handouts for myself. For myself, it's you don't work, you don't eat. And then I got diagnosed with epilepsy 3 days before lockdown. And lockdown happens, and then I'm a bit like, yeah, okay, fine, I'll go on Centrelink. Um, I was running on fumes. I was behind on my rent, and whenever I got paid, that would be for food. And I'd just tell my landlord when I've got a proper income. I'm actually lucky because I'm also mm, I'm in cheaper housing because of another scheme to help young ones. So, and on top of that, I don't think you were allowed to get evicted during this virus. But it was before the virus. Anyway, thanks to the government money coming in and me being a very frugal person, I saved up enough to pay for the course. I don't know if I said this already in the video. I started a course, an online course in human resources. I am almost done. It's one of those, here's the information, do your assessment, you don't actually have a teacher courses. Based in, and their office is in Sydney. So that's fun. But from the Centrelink money, I was able to save up, pay for that course, pay ahead of my rent, or pay back my rent, and now I'm a lot ahead because I don't want to be put in the situation again where I don't want to go back to that situation of being in debt. I hate being in debt. I'm ahead of my bills. I've saved up a lot. Oh, I was so proud of myself. Me and some of my friends were really big Hamilton fans. And I saved up enough money to pay for the trip to Hamilton, to Sydney, to go and see Hamilton. Because it's only playing in Sydney, because I don't know. I'm really proud of myself for that. And not to mention, legally, I went from having my driver's license removed because of the epilepsy. It wasn't removed as such, as just that I wasn't allowed to temporarily drive. If you have a seizure, you're not allowed to drive for 6 months. And I was getting seizures like once every 3 days before the lockdown. I worked so much on my physical health that I'm at the point where legally I am healthy enough to own and ride a motorbike. I found that amazing. That's not to say I'm going to buy a motorbike, although I've been tempted to, like a scooter type thing. But what amazed me was that I got healthy enough to do that because of lockdown. Because of being removed from what causes, well, not causes, but contributes to problems. You know how sometimes, let's say an alcoholic, right? You're there and you say, oh, well, just don't drink. For an alcoholic, it's easier said than done. Just don't hang out with the wrong people. Again, easier said than done. However, the same is true for everything else. And just like with an alcoholic, you don't always. Alcoholics are usually in denial before they get help, right? They say, "Oh no, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem," and they don't seek help straight away. I was seeking help, but I was also being influenced by people who were not the cause of my mental health problems, but contributed to its demise. And I imagine an alcoholic, might have lost their job, and as a result starts drinking. Now, any type of addict, whether it be alcohol, drugs, binge eaters, self-sabotagers, they're all addictions. The problem is the wiring in the brain for the addiction. Contributing factor is losing the job. Now, sometimes it's a bit like, well, it's just the straw that breaks the camel's back. I know in my case, late last year, I was doing great. Lockdown lifts and I slowly start to dwindle away, and I slowly start not coping. And then this one day, everything hits. And I'm talking everything. I'm at somebody else's place, and I hear pretty much more bad news than I'd heard since the lockdown began, all at once. It was a lot of stuff, especially to all hear in the one night. When you have borderline, I don't know if it's others with borderline, but I know with myself, I have to have an exit strategy. If I feel trapped, I lash out, right? And on this occasion, I was somewhere else. I didn't have a car, didn't have any actual means of escape if things turned south. Sorry. And I was holding it together for somebody who was there. And like in a matter of an hour, I go through 7 or 8 really bad things. Some of which I kind of already knew, but was just slapped in my face again. And I was just there, just a bit like, hold yourself together, hold yourself together, hold yourself together. And you owe it to this person. And then that person did something, and I just did right. I am done. I don't care. I need an escape, even if that means blacking out. I do not care if it brings on a seizure. It's not like I can afford a car in the next 6 months. I'm getting wasted. I need some form of escape. and I fell off the wagon. Now, a fun thing about me, if I fall off the wagon and I spiral really hard. But once I've put my mind to getting myself back together again, I colour my hair, or at least change it dramatically. But what I do is I get it dyed. Now, I'm going to part it like this. Oops, see that regrowth? When I colour my hair, I'm sorry for how much of a mess it is. It's me saying, okay, I'm done sulking. Now it's time for me to work on myself. Right? And so the regrowth symbolizes how long it's been that I've been working on myself. And it's my pride and joy. It's what it helps me to function, to look at my regrowth and to say, this is how long you've been good. And I reckon everybody needs that. To me, it's kind of like, when a kid's growing up and you put the marks on the wall with the dates? That's what my regrowth is to me. I'm sorry, the street that I live on, I swear, there's police and ambulances all the time. But I think it's really good to have all those things. It's normal to feel trapped. The person who had hurt me that other night, I have no idea if it was intentional or not. I try to think that it wasn't, because I don't want to think bad about people. But it wasn't the cause. The cause is, I swear, get a life. Alright, good. I'm sorry, I think they're gone now. The cause was my ill mental health. The straw that broke the camel's back was that person's influence. Now, the point I'm trying to get to, which has already taken me 18 minutes to try, but everybody needs to recognize what it is about themselves that holds them back. Something I said about that person was that we don't communicate well. And she wanted to have a relationship with me to talk to me about it. Instead, she went to other people. That was fun. And then, the only reason why I'm saying this is, there's a reason. Spoke to someone, she comes to me to say, oh, well, I can communicate with her, so you should be able to too. Too as well. Whatever. I was thinking about it, and I'm a bit like, yeah, but it's up to each of us to have our own conversations, and you can't speak on behalf of that person. I'm gone in a completely different tangent, and I can't remember what I was on about. I'm sorry, I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah, sorry. And I was a bit like, that first person, she's not a good influence on my life. We do not have a good relationship. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? I've already told her I'm cutting her out of my life until she can put in any effort to have a relationship with me. What are you going to do about it? Cutting her out of my life. That's that. And sometimes that doesn't seem to be an acceptable response to people. But it's okay to cut people out of your life. I'm not saying if they drag you down, or if you feel like you're constantly pulling them along. But if they're a negative influence, it's okay. I may be saying that for my own self-worth. Who knows? But something that I learned was once stepping back without realizing it and working on myself to then being re-exposed, I realized a lot of things that weren't healthy. And as a result, I put actions in place. We expect of alcoholics or drug addicts, well, just avoid those areas. Just avoid those people. It's very hard to do emotionally, even without the addiction. When you've got an emotional attachment to somebody, it doesn't compute. And then you add any type of addiction onto it. And for the record, I reckon paranoia is an addiction. I am paranoid of my behaviors and how it affects other people. And that messes with my life severely. And I reckon my paranoia is an addiction because I don't feel okay unless I'm trying to solve whatever it is that makes me not welcome. If that makes sense. I think I'm gonna do okay. I'm sorry, this is bothering me. I've dyed my hair so much that it breaks off now, so a lot of relapses. But like I said, it's a good thing because it means it means, hey, I've picked myself up and I'm working on myself. I'm done sulking. I reckon everybody needs that mark. And to just help themselves to get better. There's no need to feel guilt for caring about your own life before others. Maybe your children. Because when I say your children, that's because of my own insecurities. Because I'm a very mother bear figure or mentality. I cannot stand children being hurt. But you don't owe anything to anyone. You do things for others out of love and kindness and want. And this is not me saying everybody else can get lost. It's me saying only take on what you can according to your load. Alright, I only just started working out again, right? You can see my arms floppy. I have no upper body strength, right? Mind you, this right here is one of the major reasons why I want to go to the gym. I have such a lack of upper body strength. I'm talking, I cannot do a push-up, even if it's from my knees. I can't do nothing. Not a single thing. I do not, obviously then, if I don't have the capability to do a push-up, I don't have the capability to lift 50 kilos. Now, if you're emotionally weak, if you are that emotionally weak that you can't do a push-up, it is not your responsibility to hold up enough weight that it is another person. Leave that or refer that to a person who's been going to the same metaphorical gym long enough so that they can handle that weight, so that they can push that weight. I'm trying to keep this video shorter, so I'm going to end it here. There's silver linings in everything, even in horrid things. There's still good things. Even in good things, there's always still going to be bad things. It's okay if you feel different to popular opinion. Everybody's saying, oh, it's so bad except for introverts. It's okay to be an extrovert and to still feel good, you know? Or to work better isolated during the isolation. It's okay to be an introvert and to work better once society's started to pick up again. Don't let society dictate to you what's good and what's bad. Gratitude, I'll leave that for another video. Should write that down. Right. And recognize your capabilities. With that other person, the whole reason why I said I'll wait for when you're ready is because I have only just I've got borderline personality disorder. I've had mental issues since I was 5 is when I first started seeing a psychologist. But I was only diagnosed with borderline about 2.5 years ago. 2.5? Yeah, 2.5 years ago. So I've only ever had the proper diagnosis for 2.5 years, and I've only ever had the appropriate therapy for just over a year now. I'm not emotionally strong enough to hold up other people. That person, I'm not emotionally strong enough to hold up that person. I'm emotionally strong enough to put in the effort to have a relationship with somebody who's also putting in effort, but I don't have that mental strength. And if you don't have that mental strength for the whoever's causing problems in your own life, don't feel guilty. Go to the gym, work those muscles, and one day, if you do have the capability and you do have the desire, then you go back to it. You don't go to the gym trying to push 10 kilos if you've, gotten into an accident and hurt your arm. You don't try to run a marathon if you've broken your leg. You rehabilitate, then you run the marathon. If you're not coping mentally, do therapy, do gratitude exercises, and then you can work on it, on your relationships. That's it. I really didn't rant as much as what I thought I would. talk to you another time. Bye.